in 27 days' time, we'll all know the regular season will be over. The top four will have been sorted out. You may have seen some numbers put out by the Premiership this week, estimating each team's chances of extending their seasons. Before the weekend started, the number crunchers at Oval Insights gave Harlequins just a 39% chance and Sale a 26% one. Alex Sanderson smiled when he was told about that on Wednesday. They still believe, and this is the 23 he believes in today. There are a couple of changes after the morale-boosting win here against Exeter 3 weeks ago. Aaron Reid onto the wing for his 100th game for Sale, and with Ernst van Rijn recovering from an ankle injury, Sam Dugdale comes in at 7, with Ben Curry switching to 6. Otherwise, it's very similar to the team that took the Chiefs to the cleaners, which means we get George Ford against Marcus Smith, Manu Tuolangi against Andre Esterhuis, and Ben Curry against Chandler Cunningham South, who was just outstanding last weekend in Bordeaux, as were so many of this lot. One or two changes to point you in the direction of all of them amongst the forwards. It's a fresh front row with Baxter, Walker and Collier making way for Marler, Riley and Lewis. Baxter and Walker replacements today, Collier not with us. Ernie Herbst holds on to his place in the second row, with Joe Launchbury still not quite right, and the back row is retained, a back row that'll run and carry and shove and scavenge on the floor like they're fighting for the last chip, Ben.
Yeah, the head-to-heads and the forwards, I'm going to go for the battle of the South African ballast at number 4. You got Cobus Visa, Ernie Herbst. Both of those have probably been called the enforcers a few years ago. You can't really have enforcers these days, but you can have lots of physical element to your game, and those two will bring it in spades.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Quinn's play last week was based around what we saw with the tries and how wide they could play, but a lot of that actually came from their go-forward. Cunningham South was excellent at that, and I think it'll be the same today. Esterhuis will try and bash holes in this Sale defence, and we know what Manu's doing. He's got 4 games left for Sale, 2 here. He's going to want to go out on a high, isn't he?
Incidentally, going back to those Oval Insights predictions, the percentage chances of each team making the playoffs, they reckon the semi-finalists will be Northampton, Saracens, Bath and Bristol, who the Boffins reckon will edge out Quins. Bears against Newcastle kicked off a few minutes ago, and we will follow that with interest. Northampton, Sarries, Bath and Bristol. Do we agree with that?
Well, we'll see what happens this afternoon, but you'd think Bristol, with how the form book's going at the moment, would potentially be eyeing a 5-pointer at home against Newcastle Falcons. They're certainly on the rise, and no one's really been speaking about them. I'm sure Pat Lam will be quite happy to have flown under the radar and put his team back in this sort of position, but I'm sure Harlequins, off the back of their result last week, let's hope they've managed to come down a peg or two from the highs of that. We'll be have something to say about that, and Sale, it's last ditch for them, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Quinn's motto that was doing the rounds in France last weekend, you'll have heard it, let's swing the bat, helped set the tone within the first couple of minutes in Bordeaux, and they have, I'm told, every intention to come down this Manchester wicket again today as well. We will see. Maybe a little bit more pragmatic, who knows. He was brilliant as a leader last weekend, Steph Levis, goodness me. I've no idea how you would have picked the man of the match, the player of the match last weekend, because all of them were exceptional.
Yeah, they were outstanding. But I think Levis, you mentioned about his captaincy, one thing that was really impressive in that atmosphere was how he managed the referee, how he dealt with the referee. He was really, really polite, respectful when the decisions went against his team. I think that had a lot to do with their performance.
Aaron Reid leading his mates out ahead of his 100th game as a Shark. And if you were with us here 3 weeks ago, you'll know just how powerful Sale were against Exeter. A win that kept their playoff hopes on the burner. I bumped into the owner, Simon Orange, on the way in. Plenty of pre-match nerves. He'd rather not have to come up on the rails, but Sale will do whatever they need to do to have another semi-final to look forward to, just as they did here last season. Been told the squad's trained well this week, talk well as a group. Both happily suggest to Alex Sanderson that they can expect a good performance today. Referee is Tom Foley. It's been a while since he's been here, over a year. Quins fourth with 42 points. Bristol and Exeter on 40. Bristol underway now as well against the Falcons. Leicester 39 points, Sale 37. Sale's need right now probably the greater, but it's that close. And Sale in the blue and Quins in the white, and over the head, and immediately the chase from Tom Roebuck to tap it back, but it went forwards off the ricochet, so Quins with a little bit of an insurance policy around this get-out operation.
Another player who was outstanding last week was Cunningham South for Harlequins. Obviously fresh back after a bit of an injury and really emptied the tank early on in the searing heat down in the south of France, but maybe an eye on staying on the field a little bit longer this time, a bit more fitness under his belt.
Rob Dupree pressurised by his compatriot Andre Esterhazen, but the ball was away cleanly enough beyond Bev and Rod, and taken on by the other Dupree. A spin and a turn from Luke Cowan-Dickey. Ford, Tuolangi offered himself, instead it was Rob Dupree once more, and then the chase, and it's a really good one from Carpenter. He's got Aaron Reid to his left, and here comes the other winger, Tom Roebuck, Sharks' most likely try scorer this season. A whole posse of Sharks lining up away to this right-hand side. One of them was Visa. Wore away quickly. Ford, Tuolangi. We went to pass it to Curry, but Curry was in front of him, so Tuolangi had to do the digging all on his own. Rod. Ford. And then over the top from Carpenter, and here goes Reid. Back inside to Roebuck, but Smith was in the right position.
We sometimes talk about Manu Tuolangi and his decoy lines and what it does. Watch Marcus Smith here on Tuolangi, and in turn his shoulders in and get caught on Tuolangi. That loop around then means they've got a 4-on-1 in the outside channel. They do really well, and Smith actually comes back and recovers. But it's just the threat of Tuolangi. People aren't keen to leave too early because we all know him for his hard carries, but he's actually really good on that slight outside swerve with a fend. Smith just holding for a fraction long enough to make sure the support's there on the inside, and then he can't recover.
Still the Shark threat. Line out taken by Visa. And then rolling around, and who's that? Is that Curry on the ball? Over the line. First try. Sleeves rolled up. Sale ahead.
That's Sale at their best to a T, isn't it? The work of Ford and the backs to create the opportunity, and then don't quite score. They go to this line out. Really nice hit. You see a lot of effort from the Quins at the back of the line out, maybe thinking there's going to be a shift drive, and they punch directly through the catching pod, and there's no way Quins can recover. Marler spat out of the side, Levis spat out the side, and then you're left with Dombrandt pretty much on his own trying to stop that. Sometimes it's all about patience and control. Well, there we are. Doing pretty well this year, Ben Curry. Probably some of those on the back of what we've just seen. But we saw yesterday the line-out drives in the East Midlands derby was all about control and patience and biding your time. This one, it's about seeing the opportunity and flying as quickly as you can towards the line.
Ford's conversion, 7-0.
Yeah, it's a great start for Sale, isn't it? Just all over the field, the restart, the break on the outside, the drive, and then the power to see them through. I wasn't sure about the shift drive, Ben. I wasn't sure whether Jean-Luc Dupree had touched the ball and then forced the ball back to the inside. But
I like what Harper does here, because they hit in, and Walker actually does a really good job of stopping it. But Harper almost pirouettes round to open up the gate for the rest of the team behind him, sacrificing himself. And the brother really annoyed to see Ben Curry scoring another try.
It wasn't gathered in cleanly by Visa. Yeah. That list was an interesting one, wasn't it? A few of the older folk among us will remember Chris Jones doing what he was doing from the second row and the back row for Sale a few years ago, and all of us will remember Aka van der Merwe charging over at regular intervals. But Neither of them have scored as many tries now as a Sale forward as Ben Curry.
First opportunity potentially to see that battle between Tuolangi and Esterhuizen here. George Ford marking up on Esterhuizen at the moment. They'd dearly like to get him down that channel, but big response from Sale's scrum to allow Curry to come up there. That tight head wheel.
Will Porter was caught, and then Dylan Lewis was caught in several minds, it seems. Made no movement, but Quinn still have possession. Porter, Smith. Stubby one from Smith, didn't make the distance he wanted, so Carpenter can fly away and Roebuck will chase his own kick. George Ford makes sure that he's not offside. Smith got there first. Ooh, he's shaped to give it to Esterhuizen, and then the adventure from Marcus Smith, and Liner will chase the kick. It'll be picked up by Reed, who'll bring it straight back.
There's more dummies there than a crash, Nick. It was brilliant.
Glorious stuff in the Sale sunshine. Made back by Dugdale. And Dupree. Oh, that's nicely done. And this is Visa. Bit more straightforward with his running. Just run hard and clobber people. Waugh whips it away. Dupree, you've got to feel they have to score here. And there they go. And Sam Dugdale. 6.5 minutes gone and the Sharks have 2.
Wow, again, just the ability to go through the gears from Sale when they get that opportunity, and Visa with a cracking break. Lovely inside ball, half held, and he uses his strength to get out of that. Gets a really good offload away, which carries on the momentum. Here we go, inside ball, half through, but skips out of it. Now this offload ties in 2 players, Porter and Smith. Then they're all about momentum. Don Brandt here had to make the decision. Do I kill it and give away a yellow card, or do I allow the ball to come out? He allows it to come out, and the finish is really good. Once they're here and once they get quick ball, and that's the dilemma for Don Brandt just now coming in. Do I kill the ball? No, I don't. Waugh passes, and they're never going to recover. Liner on his own, 3-on-1 on the outside. Really good finish from Dugdale.
I think that try tells you everything you need to know about how much energy last week took out of Quins. You know, the play wasn't that fast, the phase play wasn't that decisive, but they just weren't in position quick enough. I think it could be a long old day for them. If we have another look at the try, actually, Nick, you just see how many guys are actually behind the ball. It's a lovely little break. The ball on the inside was a bit flat, but they get through it. Like you said, Ben, he's got the opportunity here to sacrifice 10 minutes in the bin or 7 points. It's a clear choice. He chooses the latter. But then look at all the guys that are behind the ball. You've got 3 defenders that haven't got back in position to defend before attackers get in position to score tries.
Danny Wilson was talking, and Ben was over there, so he'll know how hot it was. Lots of you watching at home in your Quinn scarves
just
right
about
now.
Recovered.
Yeah,
it might be a long afternoon for me though.
But Danny Wilson was saying that they'd really tempered training in the week up to that. They'd barely trained because they knew how much was going to be taken out of them. And the S&C team this week have been working overtime as well to get those who did play back on their feet.
But it was the nature of the game as well. It was just such a loose, wide open game. Not just physically, but mentally it would have taken a lot out of them, with it being a bit seesaw on the scoreboard, really high pressure.
In the half kick.
Being told that there's been a fabulous try scored at Ashton Gate. We're going to find out if it was scored by Bristol or Newcastle fairly shortly. That game kicked off at 2:45. So who scored it? Let's have a look. If Bristol win this and Quins don't, then Bristol are heading into the top 4 at the end of the afternoon.
Who scored it, Nick?
Well, I can tell you that it was Bristol, and this is worth watching. If something is worth watching, it's worth waiting for. And here goes Stephen Aulanga, and nobody else. Well, he does. But then the ball from Randall back to Aulanga, and yeah, that's a pretty good
almost
try.
Telepathic. He knew what was going to go on, wasn't it?
Almost as if somebody had told me in my headphones.
But that's where Bristol are so good. They break you. Their play once they've broken you is excellent. Randall's normally at the centre of all of that.
Just rocking forward.
James Dunn's just made it 14-0. The try wasn't as good, so we're not going to show you that one. But Bristol are in the top 4.
Just come a bit closer. If you can't hold it, come closer.
Right now, and Quins with some work to do.
Don't go to the other extreme. Crouch! Bind! Long scrum. Set!
Will Porter.
Quinn's play.
Quinn scrum half a week on from what he's called his best game ever so far. Esterhazen, oh, he's lost it, running into Tuolangi. It sometimes happens.
Advantage over.
Liner.
How's that advantage over? Guy gets tackled as he's kicking it.
Liner going through blue holes. Porter's there, tackled by Carpenter. And Sale will now have the ball back.
Dugdale over the ball, Nick. Gets in a really good position. I do agree, if you've kicked the ball and made 30 metres or 40 metres, then fine, but when you're being chased down and off your left peg, you get tackled at the same time. They just look there. It's like watching a different team today, isn't it? From both sides, actually, from what we'd seen from Sale in recent weeks, bar the Exeter game. They didn't have an intensity, they didn't have a sort of drive or a discernible pattern. Today, you're starting to see a very good pattern from them, both sides of the ball.
It's been a clean start to the game. That's the first penalty of the match. Harlequins head coach Danny Wilson making the point this week that good teams back up good performances. Wins clearly important over the remaining 4 games, but so also is picking up bonus points wherever you can. Quinn's working hard to get themselves back into this contest as Sam Riley scoops it up. Jack Walker, a replacement today.
Let's use it, please, Will. Advantage over.
Marler. And then Ernie Herbst skittled in midfield.
No, not on the ball.
Cunningham South. Felt like a real landmark afternoon for him last weekend. We've known how good he is. Last weekend, all of Europe and most of South Africa discovered it as well, as Liner tries to work it, or rather Green tries to work his way through. Marcus Smith, Dombrandt running alongside. Marler, arms out straight to gather the ball and then straight backwards to try to get it back into Quinn's hands, but what's that?
50-22 is on.
Luke Cowan-Dickey over the ball, and Jean-Luc Deprier was there as well. Either way, Green with some work to do in his own 22, and Caden Murley. See the Quinn's ambition though, still trying to run it, set up the position to run it with Stefan Levis, their captain.
Right, use that, please. Start on side, Sale.
Porter hooks it to his opposite number, Gus Waugh.
Inside half.
Kicking more than anyone else in the Premiership this season, but often kicking better than that.
Yeah, not his best. Just going to look at the different styles. Look at Quinn's here and the speed of transfer across the field. Esterhazen's pass, outstanding, but they get to that wide channel as quickly as they can, and that causes decisions for the defensive team. Sale deal with it really well, but this is going to be their problem when they get isolated because they're so far spread across the field. You've potentially only got one going into the breakdown, which leaves opportunities for the likes of Duprier to come in, steal the ball, and that's going to be a big part of Harlequins' game, playing how they want to, but equally keeping hold of the ball against this Sale team.
Sarah had a chat with Tom Roebuck before the match about how you prep to play that Quinn's attack, and he was saying there are building blocks, there are starting points that you can see. Do you see those starting points? Are they obvious?
Yeah, look, ball in hand, first of all, Sale have to attack, and they've shown that in the first 13 minutes that they're prepared when they get opportunities to attack. But it's a clash of styles, and they have to enforce their style on the game. So going really hard at their breakdown is going to be a thing. Harlequins have had a bit of practice. It's something that Bordeaux are very, very good at, going hard at the breakdown, and they did cope with it really well last week. But Sale, they know that's the way of stopping this team.
Esterhazen and Dombrandt did what they could to cotton onto the ball, but it was always just a little bit too far, and they can get it away to Reed, and this might be another coming up. Roebuck got some work to do, gets it back to Reed, who has even more to do, but look how quickly Sale have covered those metres. Sleight of hand right at the start of this, and then Quins win it back. averaging a Premiership high 8 turnovers a game, Harlequins, some more important than others. That one was a big one.
That was very nearly one of the tries of the season. The offload to start it off is sensational. There's the little chip over the top, well dealt with from Dupree. He reacts very well, but the little fend to get to the outside, gets his hands between the two. Carpenter, really good play, but how about this for an offload? Sensational, behind liners back, and then Reed back on the inside. You think, here we go, and then the cover is really good, and this time the track back, the scramble defence from Harlequins really good, and guess who's there to secure the turnover?
Porter defensively getting across to take a winger on. Some of the Roebuck speed, you thought it might have got away there. Fantastic tackle from the 9.
Tuolangi through holes, breaking down doors. Oh, tipped up by Liner importantly. Alarmingly sized holes in the middle of Quinn's defence all of a sudden, however. Ball lost forwards, penalty to Sale.
Yeah, Donbrandt just got trapped in there, didn't he? Thought he'd done enough to allow a gap for the ball to come through. The referee said it was enough to slow down after such a huge damaging break from Tuolangi. I think it's Will Evans who can't get the shot that he wants on, can't get the shoulder in position. How about this? Hard back against the ball, straight through. And then that left-hand fend to come out once, twice. Liner does a really good job of just doing enough on the ankles to stop him. Otherwise, that would have been a very fitting way with Tuolangi approaching the end of his career here to sign himself off.
He'll be enjoying himself in Bayonne next season. Fiji captain Waisea Nyathaleva is coming in from Toulon on a 1-year deal initially, maybe a 2-year deal. He's not a bad replacement.
He'll be all right.
Different type of player, but he's going to be good fun watching in the Gallagher Premiership next season.
A little bit of a little bit different to Tuolangi. Still has a bit of physicality, maybe slightly quicker, can play in a number of positions.
That's lost forwards by Jean-Luc Dupree. So this is Evans.
Advantage over, lads. No!
Here goes Ernie Herbst. Tom Foley making the point that knock-on advantages are not going to last long today. There was another one momentarily. Anyway, Oz, what about that break?
Well, just talking about if you're man-on-man and defence on mano, it's quite easy if everybody runs straight at you, but if you change your angle, you look, you've got 3 guys here, Marcus Smith, Esterhuizen and Will, and then if you know you're going to mark him out the game and try and hit him behind the gain line, just look how he changed his angle, though. You have to watch the ball on the inside. So you see him late, he only sees him in the last millisecond. He's already run past Esterhuizen, so he's already into the gap. It's very difficult to man-mark as a unit, particularly if you're the last man of that 3. Good last-ditch tackle, though, wasn't it, to stop him?
Well, it seems that whatever Sale and Manu do here this afternoon, if Quins lose, it'll be Bristol heading into the top 4 because Magnus Bradbury has already helped them bag a bonus point. They've scored 4 tries against the Falcons team, who are still looking for their first win of the season. That game kicked off at 2:45.
Time's off, yeah. Lads, time is off, we've got a boot, okay? Let's give him a chance.
I just wanted to show Ben this, the first try, because I just thought the deception of it was really good. I sort of half saw it, but if you just look on the short side there, Jean-Luc Dupree puts his arms out as if he's getting the shift, like Ben said, and that's then the pod reads that. They all 3 of them go onto it, and then they go straight, so it takes 3 of the Quins would-be defenders out of the equation. Just very subtle, but it made a big difference to how quick them all progressed.
Yeah, obviously worked on in training, really good from the receiver. I think, was it Visa there, that just showed as though he was going to palm the ball off just to complete the deception. Really nice play. And then often when you work on moves like that, when you're relying on deception, that's when you do have to go fast, because for it to work, you've got to keep the people that have defended the move that you're dummying, you've got to keep them out of the game, not allow them to recover.
Manu in the bouncing ball. This time Esterhazen does go low and stop him. Cowan-Dickey. Harlequins staffing that breakdown well enough and forcing, I think, was it James Harper
in a good position to compete.
off his feet.
Big moment
that
this in the
Sale
game.
conceded, Ben, after what, 19 minutes.
Yeah, huge moment here, because it has all been Sale, really, apart from the first couple of minutes where Harlequins got a little bit of traction. They can come away with something here psychologically. Big boost for them, obviously, but also Sale will be ruining the fact, feeling it's a little bit unfair. It's about taking those opportunities in the red zone, particularly away from home.
You just see they've swapped defensively as well at the back of the line out. They've put Manu there and Dugdale with George Ford out to the first post.
Well, the Beast took it. Ball on the ground, another penalty.
Bevan Rodd there, swung round, held his bind, so he's in a legal position.
You're not fully bound and then you've cut ball to ground.
Well, he's saying he wasn't fully bound. I thought he was, but then once he got in that position, he doesn't have to move. He can't change his bind,
If he wants to stay on the wrong side,
but he's definitely dragged it down. Fortunately, from a Sale point of view, Harlequins hadn't really got it moving at any speed. Otherwise, could have been a decision to make.
Just wait for the arms as well.
Sam Riley. Scrum and maul were all big weapons last Saturday, as they have increasingly been this season, particularly with the maul. But they're not going to score from that one.
First came from white, second from blue.
Just here, there's a slight delay, and it's deliberate. Cunningham South's trying to force Sale to come in early, but it's teammates that are coming in on the bind. Either they don't know the call or they've forgotten it, and they come in despite him being held up for a fraction of a second to try and con Sale into taking them early. They're already there. He wants to get the ball beneath them, so they arrive too early. He can't transfer the ball, and they end up turning it over. Huge moments in game. Away from home, as I said, in the red zone, opportunity 5 metres out. And just that slight lack of clarity, slight lack of timing potentially costs you massively here. Can Joe Marler do something to make reparations for Harlequins here?
Quins have otherwise this season been enjoying what they call their point zone attack. That ability to turn time in the opposition's 22 into points. Kind of numbers that every coach is increasingly looking at, but there was nothing doing from that latest foray, and Sale are doing what they can to get out of the red zone right now. And, well, Quins will get another go with this lineup.
I think it was Dugdale's boot that kicked that forward. He obviously wasn't attempting to, but just in trying to clear out, I think he got a hit on the floor and his boot just boots it forwards. It's the red boot, just comes out, gives Harlequins another opportunity. Riley to throw.
More backwards off the mark once.
Porter, Esterhazen takes on Ford, and Tuolangi was there as well, offering the bulk of that tackle. Ooh, Chandler Cunningham South, and it's been stripped by Jean-Luc Dupré, who was one of those who was never onside.
Yeah, it's a risk, that, isn't it? You don't really need to blitz out. You know where the ball's going, but Sale had read it so well. They had 4 defenders there against 2 attackers. You could have afforded not to run the risk of getting on that offside line. Just stay connected and then go forward and go for the turnover.
Just knowing your own players from a Quins perspective as well. Cunningham South is not the sort of player that likes to be put through a hole. He likes to have the ball in his hands early. Perhaps not the most natural. He's not a natural ball player like an Alex Dombrandt is. So give him it early and allow him to use his athletic prowess to bust his own hole.
Off he goes again. And mates gathering around him. Sam Riley has it. Marler's shipped out by VSET. But Quins have stayed calm here, stayed patient. Now Riley decides that he needs a little bit of airspace. Herbst.
No, release!
Visa goes in with the hefty challenge. Marler. Lewis Liner waits, hopefully, not over expectantly on that far right-hand side, but maybe now. Don Brunt couldn't get the ball away quickly enough, and Cunningham South continues to thump hard through the middle, and Esterhazen just shoving off Reed, creating a really nice position here. Porter away, Green! And Liner goes over, and the try's been scored.
Yeah, had to score, having been camped down here for a bit. Really, really good, and it's exactly what I was saying about Cunningham South and Porter. He gives him it early. He's actually got two defenders that initially knock him back, but he's so powerful. Give him it early, let him set himself. It's Tuolangi, and he stays on his feet, gets the offload away. Brilliant fend from Esterhazen to carry the momentum, get the momentum back for his team, and that creates the 3-on-1 on the outside. Huge hit from Tuolangi, but he stays up, gets the pass. Really good fend there, straightens up, and then speed of ball. Nice step in from Tyrone Green just to hold that last defender from allowing him to get over to Liner and make the big hit.
It's a really good finish in the end, but I think in the final ruck, if you're a Sale guy, you're going to feel aggrieved with a clear out. The clear out comes from the side from that man there, Marcus Smith. Comes in from basically 3 o'clock. It's lovely play from Quins, just going on a wrap play, same way.
Kick cuts the wrong way across the post, but Quins on the board, 15-5.
That's what I mean. If you just look at Marcus Smith, he gets in a good position, Cowan Dickey, to compete. But Marcus Smith comes from the side and out the side, and he just clears him straight across the ball. They get away with that, but it's nice play from Quins. Simple rugby done well.
Which way, George?
Forward. A restart that gave Sale every opportunity to regather. Stefan Levis was given the first opportunity, he took it on the second. Cunningham South. Apologies for the language.
Use it, please, Will.
Porter.
Oh, Scott, hold that. Onside then, onside then. Okay, Gus, let's use that, please. Let's go now.
Green. Try assist a few minutes ago and getting those magic feet of his working again.
Tackle now. Okay, leave him, leave him. Ball's there, ball's there. Thanks for it. No. Let's use that, please. No.
Will Porter doing all he can to make the coach's choice at 9 as hard as it can be. Danny Kerr on the bench again today. Rod into Marler.
Both sides' traffic in this middle third that they've been running off the back of these box kicks has been exceptional. No one able to get through as yet. Roebuck will be the man to attempt to get through the traffic here. Dylan Lewis a little bit slower back. That gives him an opportunity.
Will, let's use it, please. No.
Porter to Cunningham South. Thud. No way through that defence up so quickly.
Let's use it, please.
Organised these days by Jamie Langley.
Start onside.
Josh Beaumont wasn't far away from that and angled in the end towards Murley. Sam Dugdale outnumbered. Dylan Lewis. Rod down so low in that tackle. It is a momentum stopper.
Use it, please.
Quins are brilliant at creating their own momentum, but Sale not doing them any favours at the moment. They're not making it easy.
Just a little bit of a scuffle between Dupree and Cunningham South there. Could get a bit tasty between those two.
No! No! Come on, let's use it, please. No!
Porter making sure that Evans was onside, and the catch from Carpenter. Corbus Visa.
Pause there, pause there. Thanks, Steph. Start inside, Alex.
Tyrone Green had wandered across, predicting where that kick was going to go, and then took it expertly with both hands above his chest. Came down awkwardly. It'll be a penalty, Tom Foley tells us.
See that one again.
Esterhazen.
He jumps into him, but he is in the air, isn't he? Penalty advantage.
Tom Foley in conversation with Dean Richards, our TMO. Here goes Tyrone Green. Meantime, he's been busy over the last minute or so. Dombrand charging through, huge opportunity, interesting kick, being chased by Liner. Ball beats everybody.
Dombrand's speed of thought really is his little super strength. How he changes angle as soon as he gets this ball. Sees Cowan-Dickey, really good.
Time off.
Take at the back, penalty was there. Is the contact here? Well, he's actually stationary, and Evans prevents him from stepping back, so I think that penalty would have been a bit harsh, but they play on anyway, and this is outstanding from Green. That change of angle, though, from Dombrand, wrong-footing the two defenders, all in scramble mode, and then the wherewithal to put the ball back into space for Liner. Good recovery from Sale's defence. Promising.
Just like when you track his eyes there, it's almost he's trying to con people. He looks out the corner of his eyes to see where the space is, tries to pick up who the runner is, knows it's someone quicker than him. The kick, it just needs 5 metres shorter, doesn't it? Stay on the field, and might have had a chance of scoring.
Right. Time check.
It's one of the reasons that Harlequins have carried more balls than anybody in the Premiership this season. They average 126 a match. Most average between 105 and 110.
Interesting stats.
Thanks, I thought so.
Most passes as well, Nick, also another
interesting stat.
Yeah.
He's taking the ball.
Great steal.
Counter-ruck is legal. So we've had a legal turn. No, hang on. Off you go.
Good
stuff. Legal turnover, legal counter-ruck, side entry by 4, wins the ball back.
There you go. I was going to say, the ball actually came back off the heel of the Harlequins player, but not entering the ruck from the right angle.
Well, the Gallagher Premiership running continues with us next weekend here on TNT Sports. Friday night in the company of a couple of teams who both enjoyed big wins yesterday, on air from 7. And on Saturday, another showpiece occasion for Quins at the Big Stoop, Twickenham. Big summer kickoff. All the Stardust and Razzmatazz, Jess Glynn and Northampton invited along to help with the entertainment. And then on Sunday, a bit more hog roast and chips, I guess, but just as good, Gloucester and Exeter at Kingsholm.
I think that Bath Sarries game, Nick, is the showdown for the top 4. Winner goes in, loser probably doesn't.
Just went early there, Tuolangi. Put far too much pressure on Ford. Ford has to stop because of the pressure from Evans. Just a half step ahead of him. Tuolangi can't quite hold on to the ball, otherwise he was bursting into acres of space.
Yeah, Sale have got to find that position that they had in the first 15 minutes. It's just gone. They've had no possession, and every time they have, they've gone one phase and then gone box kick. Sale have looked really good this season when they go wide early. Their back 3 are exceptional at keeping the ball alive. And yet, occasionally, they'll go one phase in the midfield, not make over the gain line, and then think, OK, let's just kick it away. I don't think that's the right mentality when you're playing Quins.
We'll have a chat with Tom O'Flaherty in a minute or two. He's one of Sale's replacements today. He's going to have a word with us. He's just been warming up behind the post away to the right, but let's see where this goes. Porter and Esterhazen, all thumping into Curry. Dombrand.
He's taking the ball, Josh on the long side.
That Esterhazen carry was just the opposite from Tuolangi. What he managed to do was control his feet and just change direction ever so slightly to buy time for the pass. If you watch his swerve here, he's actually in danger of getting ahead, but he just controls his feet slightly and allows him to get back on the outside of Curry.
So Josh is on the wrong side, impedes their clearer, you take the ball.
Smith's kick, Harlequins throw. bit of elbow grease, and they've worked their way back into this contest. There's still 10 points between them, but it's much more convincing from Harlequins over the last 20 minutes.
They never do it easy, do they, Quins? If you're a Quins fan, you mustn't have any fingernails left. Last week, this week, I mean, we're only 20 minutes in.
Good contest for the ball. Play.
It was a great contest as Dupree went up, but Levis just about got enough on it, and Evans burrows away.
No!
Sale shouting for the turnover. The referee, Tom Foley, says no. Cunningham South gives it another go. Marler's there. Herbst is there to help as well. And Riley, Sam Riley.
Let go. Went off his feet, took the ball, but then
Cunningham South. Nobody was buying that. Levis. No way through.
The ball just looked like it popped out, but
I think Curry ripped it after the shot.
the knee
tackle
was down, yeah.
Time is off. We're going offside as well, Ben, okay? So offside and then no release. Time is off. No, they're not going anywhere.
Let's have a chat with
There's the Panda. His knees go to the floor. No, he loses it, doesn't he?
He loses it before it goes to the floor, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Let's have a quick chat with Tom O'Flaherty. Tom, first things first, what's the job of a replacement in the first half? How are you keeping your mind sharp and occupied?
Just been warming up behind the posts, keeping an eye on the game, obviously, and a bit of caffeine gum.
Does your mind ever wander? Little.
Well, no. It can do, but I mean, we're pretty focused on what we've got to do when we come on, and yeah, just keeping an eye on the game mainly and just contributing.
What are you making of things so far?
Yeah, I mean, we had a very good start. We were clinical. We won all the scraps, and then we were a bit messy on our exits, and then it's been followed by ill discipline, which has led to this scenario down here where we've got quite a lot of pressure on us, consistent pressure.
All right, brilliant. Let you get back to the caffeine. Cheers, Tom.
Cheers.
Ben Curry there,
Advantage, hands in front.
giving away the penalty, but Curry saved the try.
Marler. Oh, Tuolangi tries to stop him. Marler managed to find some space away to the left-hand side. And these are big moments with 5 minutes to go to half-time. Smith and then Green, Liner screaming for it. Carpenter trying to cover him. Green looking to commit the defender. Liner over. It looked simple, but it took patience and it took execution, and Quins had both.
Well, Carpenter so isolated, and that's what the Quins are the best in the league at, spotting opportunities like that. A lot of teams would have just carried on going with the pick and go here, but out the back, Smith with the wide ball. I thought Carpenter had done a really good job to stay connected, but just here, just hesitates for a fraction of a second, just loses Liner. Very difficult when he's looking back at the ball. And Green with that little hitch kick and go, second one as well, just to sit down, make sure Reed can't get off him.
Shot clock's not working, so I'll give you 15.
And then Carpenter probably just got done by that second little kick and go. There he's done really well to stay connected, and there he just has to wait for him. And then because he's waited, because he's been delayed, he overcommits to going to Liner, who steps back on his inside. Green's really playing well at the moment, isn't he? Come right back to his best.
It's so hard as a winger in that situation, though, because it's easy from up here to say, do this, do that, don't do that. But when you've got someone like Green who's so fast on his feet, this is a classic example of turning somebody inside out. He picked up on it, Ben, but if you have a closer look at his body position here. It's absolutely perfect, Carpenter. Over his shoulder, drifting to the outside. But the stop and go, now he turns his outside shoulder in. He's backing off. He now can't see Liner outside. And so even though he gets there, when he sees him, he's already overrun him. If he's facing him all the way, Liner's got a much harder step there. And all down, like you said, to the skill of Green. Have you ever turned anyone inside out? I wasn't asking you, Nick.
You're about to find out, Austin.
Use it!
Meantime, 15-0 has become 15-10. A couple of Lewis Liner tries on the right wing.
Freeing it, that's fine.
One thing we haven't spoken about, Nick, about these two 10s, they've both got very poor kicking percentages this season for their sides. Just wondering whether, you know, when we get to the top 4, if we look at that top 4, I can almost guarantee most of those kicking percentages are going to be much higher than these two guys. Maybe they just take on more difficult kicks than some of the 10s, who knows? I'm sure someone can work that stat out.
Interesting to see that, actually, wouldn't it? To see where the kicks are taken from, because neither of Smith's conversions today have been simple ones. Oh, Tuolangi again.
That was into Dombrant and Evans.
Tuolangi 4 carries, Esterhazen 5. The HGVs are out in Manchester today. De Preer, that went forwards, and it was very nearly picked off by Liner.
Great carry from Tuolangi. Some good communication from Riley, because Will Evans does really well to go low, double tackle, Dombrant gets bounced, but Will Evans is in danger of giving away a penalty. Riley tells him to get out, and then he does really well to fill the gap and make the tackle here. Bit out of position, and then the step back on the inside. Will Evans makes the tackle. Good communication from his hooker. Could have been in big trouble there.
5-man called. Just wait.
As Will Evans reached over for the 4th try just before half-time at the Stade Chaban-Delmas last weekend. Smith, Esterhazen takes on 4. That's an unequal contest. Beyond Riley to Smith, and Liner popping up on this near side. Cunningham South. Evans was running hard and the ball was too hard. And now Luke Cowan-Dickie got back onto his feet to make his way up to the 10-metre line. Beaumont, Ford, needed to find De Preer quickly, and he did, because he was being hustled by Porter. De Preer finds Carpenter, needs help, and then the ball is absolutely walloped away to the top corner by Evans.
Saw Porter do this a bit last week. Maybe George Ford knows he's going to fly out of the line there. Just create a bit of a dog leg. And Ford, again, stopping, controlling his feet, almost inviting him to step out. And that just isolates him from the rest of his defensive line. They attack into the space. They can't hold on to the ball, though, Sale. A little bit disappointing, having got that easy field position. Ford manipulating Porter really, really well. They didn't take better advantage of it, but they still get another shot.
You're all saying different numbers. What's it going to be? 6-man, lads. Give you a chance. All happy? Right, let's go.
Had this yesterday down at Sandy Park. Team saying that they were going to have 5 there, and 6 blokes turned up. Got it sorted out in the end, as has Tom Foley here. Beaumont, highest. Ooh, Curry finding some space, and Cowan-Dickie not a great deal of room to manoeuvre, and stays infield despite the best efforts of Cunningham South. Here's De Preer.
I think there's a no-arm clear out there from Visa Nick in that ruck. They're going to get away with it, are they?
This is going to be looked at. Hamish Smales, the assistant referee, on the near side. There's a penalty coming as well, because Will Porter was offside. Ford, Tuolangi again just straightening things up. Hard meters on the bounce to De Preer. Did well to get his hands sorted out and find Reed. War to Ford, to Jean-Luc De Preer. War and Ford again, and this time to Rod. Centre field, threats right and left. Work over the ball from Evans, but he was blasted off a couple of times. Time up at the end of this first half, into the red, but still time for Sale to bag a third. It's Ben Curry on this far right-hand side. It's Curry, lays it back to Reed. A lot of work to do. He's got there. Mines under a pile of Londoners, and the perfect Sale sweetener to take back in at half-time.
Well, if he has got this, Nick, it's a fantastic try. Because as the ball comes back inside to him, the cover is in front of him. It's his body angle that he picks if he's got it. They're celebrating the try with the loudest speaker system in Europe. It hasn't been given yet.
We're just checking potential foot in touch. If not, we come back to the penalty, okay? Hold down. So I've got a grounding, Dean. It's just whether that foot of Reed is in touch.
Yeah, got a grounding, just checking for foot in touch.
So it's that foot that is on the line.
Try, I think.
Oh.
I don't think the foot is on the
I'm
line.
going to leave it to you to see where that ball is, Dean, okay?
The ball's
I
down
think
now.
that's a try for me.
If it's simultaneous, then it's touch, which means we'll come back for the penalty.
Just checking another angle.
You might need to get the time code on it if we haven't got a split
That's a
screen.
try.
That's a try.
No split screen, Tom, we're just checking.
Okay,
The
thank
ball's
you.
down now, on the line, his
Try's
foot's
good.
still in.
Try's
Yeah.
good.
That's a brilliant finish.
Aaron Reed's 100th game as a Shark, and that's how he's built his reputation.
As you said, Oz, it was his way he shaped his body, give him the only chance possible. Two defenders coming over, just stayed as low as he could.
What about this conversion? Oh, he likes that. There's every reason to like it. And the first half that swung this way and that. First in Sale's direction, Ben Curry and Sam Dugdale with tries in quick succession. But Quinn's full of character. And Lewis Liner with a couple of tries pulled them to within 5. And then Aaron Reed right at the end, spectacularly converted by Ford. Half-time in Salford. Sale 22, Harlequins 10. Danny Kerr, one of Harlequins' replacements in this second half. We'll be having a chat with Nick Evans in a moment or two, and I think we might talk about replacement policy in this second half and whether it might just shift forward a few minutes given what we know was a hugely exerting game out in Bordeaux last weekend. But I guess if you could bottle confidence, then Harlequins would have exceeded their duty-free allowance on the flight back from Bordeaux, and they might have to be taking a few sips out of that now. They revived themselves well with those 2 Lewis Liner tries after going 15-0 down, one of them set up by Tyrone Green, but Aaron Reed scored just before half-time, giving Sale that dozen-point cushion. What can Quins do? How much have they got left in the tank?
Okay.
Nobody writes off Harlequins. Nobody. And Smith has us going again, and Visa hoisted highest.
That's one, Scott.
Jean-Luc Dupré at the front of that, working hardest, and War
Top of the back.
running into Harlequins scrum half Will Porter.
Okay, let go now, Josh, please. Okay, let's go, please.
Steph Levy's doing what he could to try to slow that ball down. It's Green. Reed catches him, and then Curry. Sam Riley. Jack Walker
Okay, Sam, off your feet now.
amongst the bench that we've just been talking
Use it,
about.
please, Will.
Joe Carpenter came across onto this left-hand side a few seconds before that kick, swapping with Gus War, and the error's drawn.
Just wanted to look at this from Sale and the reason they attacked from their own 22.
Cut line, please, Quinn.
Esterhazen in the breakdown, he's trying not to get committed there. His chest's up, he wants to get out, but just that communication at the front to hold him in and rotate him round means he can't get back into that guard position. Aaron Reed thinks, well, there's an opportunity, we're not going to get turned over, it's worth the gamble from our own 22.
Dugdale, one of Sale's early try scorers, Dupré, and here's Curry. captain today. Tom Curry, by the way, is running around again training-wise. Might not be far away from seeing him again, although the S&C team are working hard to manage expectations. Ball came off feet, so Jean-Luc Dupré can carry on raiding forwards.
Lisa's had a good game, hasn't he? Another good carry there, straight off the back of the last one.
Ford and Tuolangi as sail off in early search of bonus points in this second half, and
Tackler, 9 impeded the 9.
Yeah, Beard impeded the 9, which meant that he couldn't get the ball away, and then the ruck became dead. Big choice there, 12 points ahead. You go to 2 points. Yeah, they've gone for take him to 15. There's a gap.
Yes.
The choice is to go for the posts.
Yeah, you just see the tackle here. Beard gets on the far side. There he is. He rolls directly into Ward, trips him up, and that enables Esterhuizen to get over and get the ball.
And the first change is actually going to be made by Sale, and they're changing their scrum halves. Gus Waugh is coming off for Rafi Quirk. Applause for Waugh and also for Quirk, who's out to play in his 50th game for the club. Meantime, Ford. 25-10.
I think that's 100% the right call to go for the points. We know George Ford very good at that game management strategy side of the game. But I think every time they get opportunities to take points, Sale should do that, because they know Harlequins will keep trying to come back at them. It stops them trying to defend. They just keep going down, keep chipping away, keep getting points. They'll obviously hope to create some try-scoring opportunities themselves, but every time they're there, the 3 points, if I were them, I'd take them.
Dupré to Dupré. Told the change at scrum half is tactical. Oz, you were asking about that. You were just down on talk back, wondering if it might be an injury.
Well, they must have just said to him at half-time, you're coming off, but give us 3 minutes so that Rafi Quirk can get warmed up properly. You can't think of any other reason for it, can you? And say go out for 3 minutes in the second half.
Brilliant tackle. Absolutely superb from Bevan Rodd there. The line speed, the leg drive. Had 2 guys with him to counter-ruck.
Talking to Nick Evans shortly. Part of the Quins coaching team. Lewis takes it on, just short of halfway. Smith, Dombrandt, down in the breadbasket. Will Porter's there. Smith as well, 2 players who've known each other since they were 15.
Release, please.
Back we come for the penalty. Let's have a quick chat with Nick. Half-time bullet points, Nick, down below.
Yeah, we spoke, obviously we started pretty slowly in this game, fought our way back in, and that try before halftime was a bit of a punch in the guts. So look, I think they won the physical battle in the first 20 minutes. We rested ourselves back into the game. We spoke a lot about sticking to our systems, just making sure that when we get into areas when we can start attacking, that we're all alive. I think we got into a little bit of a trap where we were falling back into thinking we were going to do one thing and thinking, you know, not doing what we said we were going to do during the week. So, you know, again, another little poor start, you know, cheap penalty given away at just after half-time there, but obviously an opportunity here to get our game back on the park.
How much has Bordeaux taken out of you?
Oh, look, now it's gone, mate. We've had a good week. We've prepped. You know, Bordeaux was Bordeaux, and this is another massive opportunity for us. We know how tight the league is. Every game counts. Every result counts. Obviously, they're fighting for their lives at the moment as well.
And thoughts on how you might use your replacements? Sale have changed early.
Yeah, no, we've got options. I think you'll probably see a few of them coming on in the next 10 minutes or so.
Brilliant. Cheers,
No
Nick.
worries.
Little battle between Esterhuizen and Tuolangi there. Esterhuizen not quite in the body position he wanted when he got the ball. Tuolangi took full advantage.
Smith. Whipped away by Oscar Beard, and then the chase, and Caden Murley, not quite that quick.
Lovely piece of skill that from Green, off his left peg, little chip. One more bounce to the right. This would have been a good foot race. They're just starting to find a few corners, aren't they? Puts it on the ground. That's unlucky that. I think Murley would have scored if that had stayed in.
He was player of the match and a very strong field in Bordeaux. Who's the best fullback in the Gallagher Premiership these days? Whereabouts does Tyrone Green feature on that list?
On this form, he's right up there. Really right back to his best from a year or so ago.
When he took his first couple of steps today, by the way, he was the first to go beyond 1,000 metres ball in hand in this season's campaign.
I'd probably go Furbank, Nick.
Yeah,
I agree, yeah.
Rafi, use it, please.
Saints player.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's just difficult for me to say. I don't know, you're looking at me.
Still
But
alive.
hurts a little bit. I'll have to clean my teeth when I get in the car. Wish you
If
would.
you could do it now.
Oh. Steady. Got in there before you could.
Can't avoid open doors, can you?
Well, you can just see his brain trying to work.
Just wait, Ben, yeah?
Sam Riley. Herbst with the catch. And then Esterhuizen again,
Just a little
picking
shot off
out
the ball.
forward.
Dombrand, please.
Manu on Dombrand.
I think he was bumped off the ball in midfield.
It's been seen by the officials. Smith, oh, that's brilliant. Chandler Cunningham South. Murley has gone. Light the fuse and watch Quins fly.
Well, brilliant from Quins to stay alive. Certainly think that Tuolangi did bump Dombrand. Here, great hold from Esterhuizen, yet Tuolangi goes through, continues, would have been a penalty, nothing more. Nice hands there from Joe Marler to tip on.
But the timing of the pass is sensational, isn't it? Marcus Smith, he just waits and waits and waits. Here it comes. No, no, no. Now. Just invites Visa into him.
Step back on his right foot as well, forcing Visa to commit. Cunningham South as well. Lovely pass. The temptation there, because of the angle, it's quite tight to get his body round and get to Murley, who's right flat with him. He appreciates the pass. Some big guys would have just held on there and taken their chances, but really nice shape on the pass. Great score.
It's another conversion that Smith will be happy to contemplate, but again, it's not the easiest, but this time he's slotted it. For the first time he's slotted it, and it's 25-17.
Yeah, that's that, just that hold and lean back towards the way the ball's just come from that means Visa has to stay. And then lovely ball on the outside, Murley very flat. And he'd be hugely appreciative of Chandler Cunningham South.
Nick Evans telling us that Harlequins changes were in the offing, and the first of those changes are to replace the entire front row. So Joe Marler, Sam Riley, Dylan Lewis off, Jack Walker, Finn Baxter, Simon Kerrod on. Kerrod, his 100th game for the club. Ford. So Kerrod, who was trying to close him down. Green underneath it.
No, no.
Again, he fights for those extra, maybe metre or so, but
That's your one chance.
this happens so often with Cunningham South, where players think that they've got him, they've put a big shot on him, and he just stands there, waits till the energy comes out of the tackle, and then just goes again.
Carpenter finding extra metres where initially there didn't seem to be any. Rod. He runs into Kerrod.
Let him out, let him out. Good. Okay, use that, please, Rafi.
Rafi Quirk. Once again, Green. Falls back for Dombrand.
Did really well there, Green, because Liner had lost flight with the ball and was blocking him.
And, wonderful work from Jack Walker, and then the chase, and Green's hurtling after it once more.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't think so, no.
Shame that from Will Evans, because I think the pass was to go back
Time's off.
The way it had just come. You see what he's trying to do, release the quick men on the outside channel, but for me, Jack Walker, having made the break, probably wanted the ball back here, and then he could have linked back up with the pace on the outside. I guess if the kick was more accurate, yeah, it comes right off the side of his boot, then would have been an interesting foot race for Tyrone Green.
Two more changes. James Harper replaced by Will Griff-John, a familiar face returning to these parts in the Sale front row, and Danny Care's on. Doing a double shift today. He's going to play a game of rugby, or at least half a game of rugby of what's left of it, and then he's going to come and join us for our rugby review. It's a smashing little programme. If you've not been tuning in this season, Danny will be joining Austin and Ben, who are also doing overtime.
Okay, now use it, Rafi,
Smashing little show.
Smashing little show.
Smashing it is.
What are you going to be talking about with Danny? Oh, let's leave that for a minute or so. As liner went up, Green whips it across to Smith, and look how quickly they're looking for space, Harlequins, and Roebuck came in to disrupt it. And back we come for the mid-air collision.
Just jumps late, doesn't he? Makes Reed think that he's going to stay on the floor so Reed can smash him, but the very last second, you're only going to lift your feet off the floor 6 inches.
Inside the 22. End of the line, please, Beth.
Harlequins have a line out 20 metres out. New man Jack Walker, old man Alex Domp, not old as in an old man, but as a man who's still been with us from the start. Walker to Cunningham South. Care, Smith. Nearly through, and Ford held on, gritted his teeth. Cunningham South. Talked about the importance of bonus points between now and the end of the season. There are a couple up for grabs here for Harlequins. Fourth try-scoring bonus point. And
really
also
well.
to be within 7 points. Sorry, Oz.
Really well read by Bevan Rod, this. The intercept, absolutely fantastic, because his passing's been excellent so far, Danny.
I'm just going to look at Danny Care's pass and how flat and wide it is to get round Curry. Smith obviously knows Curry's going to come at him. He just drifts on it. That allows him to straighten. And then, as you said, Oz, Bevan Rod.
Yeah.
Really nice play.
Look, Cunningham South again. He's making metres after contact all the time. But Bevan Rod just stands in the channel and takes it. Just looking back at that try and the different roles of two forwards. On the outside, there's Levis and Cunningham South. Levis goes on the short ball, trying to hold on the inside defence. But just watch Cunningham South, how good he is. I've highlighted him, zoom in on him. Just watch his feet, his timing, his waiting, and then he goes full pace. That's what gets him through the gap, timing. Really good for any kid watching. Don't attack a space too early. Often you can't get there too late, but you can always get there too early.
He was always impressive in the early days with London Irish, but he's stepped up several divisions, hasn't he, over the course of this season?
This year, yeah.
But look at him. I mean, he's so young. He's unbelievably young. I think, we mentioned it before, he's not a natural ball handler. That's his only thing that's holding him back. But I think he can work on that. I think he really can, and he needs players around him to use him for his major strength. So give him the ball early, because every time he carries, he doesn't necessarily win the collision first out, but he never dies on a collision, never dies on a tackle, fights for everything. And that's so important. You put that in a back row with the likes of Alex Dombrand, who is more of a natural ball player, will get those little offloads away. I actually think offloading-wise, passing-wise, he's pretty good. He just makes a few errors taking the ball initially.
Esterhazen again smashing it up. Ben Curry's gone off for an HIA, which is why Ben Bamber's on with us.
Actually, Esterhazen's holding his head here. There might be, after that carry, they might just have a look at that.
Care. Care gets his head down. So does Care.
Offside advantage. 19.
Quins with the advantage as again their search for bonus points really gathers pace, and Green working his way through. Oh, pass there to Liner, and he may have been scoring his hat-trick.
Yellow card coming.
I think
He's only just come on, Ben Bamber. He'll know the way back.
I think there could be another yellow card, Nick, if they look at the Esterhazen tackle. Ford concedes ground, but we saw one yesterday. We've seen a few, actually, players conceding. But I just thought Ford was way too high in the tackle. Is there a collision of heads? Yeah, I think there is. Shoulder.
I think Ford's head actually goes on the shoulder, doesn't it?
Go captain, George, okay? Captain.
He's still holding his head, Esterhazen. Maybe it's George just taking a rattle. It could have been.
Are we happy, guys, yeah?
As Cowan-Dickey came in for the clear out, couldn't it? Yeah, he's certainly talking to Cowan-Dickey.
George, you ready? Happy? Okay, time on. Offside 19.
Tom Foley asking George Ford if he's happy, because George Ford's now the captain in the absence of Curry. George Ford just asking for a little bit more effort from everybody. This game in the balance again, which says everything about Harlequins and their stick ability.
Yes, okay. Early, Bevan Rod. Hits on the front lifter before the ball is down.
Away quickly by Esterhazen. Smith beautifully to find Liner. And then Kerr.
Number 1.
That's brilliant. The one thing you do say, though, is when you're going high risk with your defence, you have to go through with it, because it actually probably saves Sale here. It's brilliant play from Quins.
It's number 1 early on the lifter here. He's hit the lifter before they've hit the ground.
And another warning on a yellow.
Just generally penalties in this area of the field. Of course you can.
See, this is where I think, as a captain now, when you go in and speak to them, if you're on a warning and you've had 2 shots at stopping them in the red zone within 5, you have a call and you say, right, let's concede. Make them think they're going to get over our line, but we're going to hold them up. Don't try and win the contact, all of you. Get under the ball. It's quite easy to do if collectively you know and you're going to do it. I wonder if he's saying that. I wonder if you can tell forwards to take a backward step.
But it's more difficult from a maul. It's fine once you stop the maul, but it's much more difficult from a maul than it is from that pick and go game a couple of metres out.
Because if they lose another player, if they go to try and stop them now and they lose another player illegally, down to 13 for almost 9 minutes, it'd be a really big ask.
Well, this game is beautifully balanced, particularly if Quins can come away with something here. Upper man, remember, Ben Bamber serving his yellow card, so missing muscle, missing big muscle, and Harlequins looking to exploit that. Kerrod's not far away. He'll be helping to drive that ball over if he can. No way through. That's good work from Dugdale, but then they go wide and then they score, and Oscar Beard has it, and this contest bubbling again.
If you just look at Sale's eyes defensively, because of what's happened, because they know Harlequins are really adept at that pick and go game we were talking about. We saw that last week with Will Evans' try. All the eyes are back in at the breakdown. You see a little bit of request from Wilgriff John to try and get more bodies out into the wider channel. Oscar Beard spots that, sees all the eyes back, just goes really flat, asks for the ball, gets it. Very simple walk in.
4th try, bonus point securing try, and they are back within 1.
See Rob Dupree as well, even his eyes, but he's had to go tighter because not enough bodies have come round to support, and then he can't get back out against a runner that's coming hard back against the grain, in behind his eye line.
It's a good finishing, Beard, is it? But when you're that close to the line, you almost have to go against your instincts at looking at the ball and just look at the man, because you haven't got time to move your head from that sort of pass inside to outside to win the tackle. You need a bit of a spark. I think it's a good call, actually, bringing O'Flaherty on.
Yeah, fully caffeinated Tom O'Flaherty on for Tom Roebuck, and George Hammond on the other side.
Oh, here we go.
On for Levis, and the ball bouncing loose, and the try scored.
Talk about impact, Nick. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that. Flaherty chases the kick, gets in front on the block. They get a little bit of luck, but then Rafi Quirk's got more pace than most nines and finishes for them.
Get me some of this caffeine gum. Look at this. Good chase. It's a long chase. Gets his hands to it. And Quirk first to react, really sharp from Quirk as well. But as you said, both the subs, brilliant impact.
What a big score for Sale as well in the context of all of this. They've got the bonus point, and just as it looked as if it might be slipping away and maybe their last hope of making the playoffs was slipping away, they respond like that.
Yeah, the rugby gods shine down on them with a little bit of fortune.
I'm fine.
Again, this kick is big. Just take them out to 2 scores. It's a massive kick.
This is a kick that'll take him level with Stephen Myler. Nearing the top of the Premiership point scoring tree. Much more importantly, in terms of today, it stretches Sale's lead to 8 again, but George Ford, as he has been for a long time, in very good company.
Music, please.
Sale have a fresh front row as well now, because they've taken off Luke Cowan-Dickey and Bevan Rod and brought on Tommy Taylor and Cy McIntyre. Green got that away nicely, Liner, and then Baxter helping to find some sunshine. Kerr, Smith, there's George Hammond. Bouncing ball gathered by Murley. Into the final quarter. Can't imagine you're going anywhere, as folk very rarely do when Harlequins are on the box.
Let's go, Danny, please. Okay, now.
Sale rolling up their sleeves as well again today. Kerr's long kick. Taken by the fullback, Joe Carpenter.
Start onside, then start onside, thank you. Use it then. Played onside by 9.
Well, that's nicely done, and off they go again. Was that a little bit high from Don Brandt? Certainly the locals were asking that question as Tommy Taylor came away with it.
It's over the shoulder, there was no neck or head contact.
Dean Richards very quickly and smartly on it, telling us that we can play on. So Ford looks for touch and finds it. No 50-22, you heard Tom Foley tell us.
Only Herbst has gone down. Already got Hammond on the field.
Time is off, guys, 2 players down.
Well, providing the shots behind the posts today, those wonderful wide shots that offer a slightly different perspective. Good old E4 up on Hoyscamp. Give us a wave, E4. Well done, lad. Duncan Richmond used to stand up there. Duncan has retired after 40-odd years in the game. One of the great cameramen, such an important part of who we've been over the last decade or so. Dunk choosing to spend more time with his family these days, with his malt whiskies, his excellent taste in music. And we all remember the day that he got stuck up that hoist on a cold night in Worcester, and there was a vote as to whether we should try and repair the hydraulics or not, and in the end he had to clamber over a roof. But we all miss Duncan, and we all wish him all the best in his retirement.
Sorry, my mistake, 2.5
Ivor,
minutes.
a worthy replacement.
It's quite easy, Nick, actually. What you do is you just pull one of the spark plugs out of the hoist, and then it doesn't work.
64. Don't test me, right?
Don't fancy going and have a chat with Ivor, do you?
Well, no, I can't, because I've already taken the spark plug.
Okay, we're ready. Time on when he throws it, please,
He's up there for the next few weeks.
Stay there, Will. Don't
It's a good view, though, isn't it? I mean, that is a beautiful flyover.
big defensive line out, and it very nearly went to miss. Ernie Herbst manages to get his hands to it. Baxter with his arms out.
Clearly off your feet.
Just don't do it. You've got all the pressure in the world on them. You just don't need to turn it over there. Yeah, you'd be a massive hero if you get it. But you've got to be sure taking those chances.
Hearing that Ben Curry has passed his head injury assessment and he will come back on the pitch
End of the line, please,
for Ben Bamber when Bamber has served his yellow card. So Bamber, who came on as a replacement, is being replaced after the yellow. Dombrand.
I can't see that from where I am. Take ball, take it, lead it quick.
Great steal, Dugdale.
No, go.
Quirk, whose try extended Sale's lead, and O'Flaherty was absolutely central to it as well. Quirk, Ford again looking for space as quickly as possible. What a pass that was from Dupree, and here goes Reid. Reid through, that's brilliant. The quickest way to get across Manchester. Put it in the hands of Sale's rugby players. That is fabulous.
Oh, what a pass from that man. I thought he'd thrown it too far in front when he let go of it. But Rob Dupree, absolutely sensational. Dugdale pinches the ball, and then they know they can get to the wide channel because there'll be space there. Harlequins not transitioning quickly enough. Chip ahead, pull in some extra bodies, and then how about this for a pass? And look at the acceleration from Reid to get round Northmore initially. And then the step back inside, in between Liner and Green. Really good power to match his pace. But that ball couldn't have been thrown more perfectly.
Oh, well, some passes just take your breath away, and that was one of them. This for a 15-point lead with a little over 15 minutes to go. Not quite.
I'm going to show you in a bit, actually. Normally I do loads of arrows, a load of drawing, but this is all about O'Flaherty. He takes the ball, and then it's the placement. He carries, he gets really long arms, which makes the ruck super fast for Rafi Quirk, and then it's just two beautiful long passes. First one from Ford to Dupree, and as you said, the one over the top, and a fantastic finish from Reid.
Is the jury still out on Rob Dupree as a centre, or are we absolutely convinced now? There was some conversation last season, wasn't there, about whether it should be Sam James and whether Sale were rather shoehorning Dupree in when Ford was fit, but he looks at home there, doesn't he, Oz?
Well, he was their best player when Ford was away by a country mile, so I think to begin with they had to get him in the team. He's certainly come into the role, hasn't he? Passes like that, it's difficult to argue against.
Baxter and Dombrand. Kerr, Smith. Oh, and Green very nearly. We could see that Liner was waiting, but the ball just would not come to heel. Now Carpenter seeing space, but and then seeing Baxter's shoulder.
Oh, was that a trip on the floor?
And that was Dupree, who didn't get the easiest of exits.
I'm not sure whether Cunningham South tripped him then as he ran through. Looked close.
Hearing that it wasn't.
Okay, use that wrapping now, please.
Well, the threat's still there, isn't it? Sale can't relax.
19? No, he's the one who was yellow carded.
Just trying to get some energy into those bodies. He did cramp a bit last week.
Thanks, Charlie.
Cunningham South taking that gel there, just getting some fluid on.
Well, at the moment, it's looking like an impressive Sale win, but it won't be enough to take them above Harlequins into the top 4, because Bristol are going to get there ahead of them at the moment. They are beating Newcastle 66 points to 14, which is the highest number of points they've ever scored in the Gallagher Premiership. And it's they, with a charging late season run, who will be top 4ers at the end of this weekend. Oh, and Green running into Visa Baxter.
Okay, don't press the ball into him. Don't press the ball into him, thank you.
Sale are going
Okay,
5th at the moment. And Harlequins, who were 4th, will end the weekend in 6th, unless they know something we don't. And they very often do, as we all know. But there's some work to do here with a little over a dozen minutes left. And here goes Bamba, and here goes O'Flaherty, who's made such a difference.
Ball clearly exposed. Knock on advantage. He picked the ball
Quirk.
up, he's just knocked it forward.
Ford got it away, and then Rob Dupree couldn't gather.
You picked the
All
ball
sorts
up, then
going
lost
on.
it forward.
He's certainly made an impact, hasn't he, O'Flaherty? Involved in the first try within a millisecond of coming on. Then he takes the high ball, places the ball for the second try.
I don't think anybody was holding on to it. There was nobody there.
And now just the timing. Lovely little offload. Doesn't die with it, looks outside, steps back inside. He's just waiting to try and get those hands through. Good tackle from Murley, stays on his feet as well.
What's happened is he's picked the ball up, there's nobody holding on to it, then he's lost it forward.
So what's he taken? Caffeine gummy bears, was it?
Time is off, please, yeah.
Did he say it was caffeine? What did he take?
I just thought it was caffeine, isn't it?
No, he said caffeine, but it was like a chewy sweet or something.
Oh, was it? I just thought he was having a latte or something. Anyway, it works.
Certainly has.
We'll all be piling into that at the service stations on the way
So
home.
then, time on the crowds, please. So again, blue ball, yeah. Yes. Okay, then let's go. Then let's just stop building, please. So I'll give you another mark. There we go.
I'd like to try and see Rafi Quirk get off the base here if he can. He's an electric 9 in terms of pace. Get down that short side. You see Quins are worried about it. They've stacked 3 defenders down there, which you don't normally do. But Manu's out there in that channel as well.
Bind. Set. Hold.
Jared Evans is on at 10, which has pushed Marcus Smith to fullback, and Tyrone Green has moved on to the wing to take the place of Caden Murley, who was replaced for him. Jared Evans, who's on for the final 5 minutes last Saturday in Bordeaux. He gets 11 minutes up here in the English Northwest. Danny Wilson with a little bit on his mind. Harlequins head coach, he knew that this would be a big physical encounter. He was up here with Leicester in the semi-final last season. Last Saturday, Alex Sanderson led an office party to Aintree in the Grand National. And he revealed this week that he backed the winner, largely because it seems like he backed every single horse in the race. I think he had a bet on 12 in the end. But anyway, he was happy enough to have got at least one of them home. 4 fences to go in this particular race, and it looks as if Sale on falling here.
I know Austin wants to see Rafi Quirk break. I don't think they'll be in a huge rush to get this ball out. They felt they got a bit of dominance on the last scrum. It was reset. See them trying to win that penalty, being asked to use it now.
Quirk looking for it. Get another go.
Guys, we're going around on the mark. Nobody's dominant.
So much to look forward to next weekend as the Premiership just moves up another notch. We've got 3 matches to plug here, boys. I'm going to give you a golden ticket to one of them. The first one is that one, Bath against Saracens at the Rec, and then Harlequins against Northampton at Twickenham. The big summer kick-off for Quins, and then on Sunday, how about Sunday afternoon in the Cotswolds in front of the Shed at Kingsholm, Gloucester against Exeter. So which one? You can only go to one.
I'll go to Saturday because I'm already doing Friday and Sunday. But I think Bath Saracens, look, for entertainment value at Twickenham, it doesn't get much better than Quins Northampton with the way they're playing at the moment, but Bath Saracens has a lot riding on it.
Tuolangi. He's thumped hard today. He's only scored 1 try this season, Manu Tuolangi. Does not account for all the effort that he puts into all those little short-range jabs.
Okay, let's go.
Bristol are up to 80, by the way, against Newcastle. It's Newcastle against Sale next weekend. And then guess who Harlequins play on the last day of the regular season, Saturday, May the 18th. Bristol.
At home.
Yeah. Just gone at 85.
But if it stays like this for Sale, actually, their running's not too bad. You know, you can easily see them winning with bonus points the remaining games. They've got Newcastle away, Tigers at home. Tigers could be out of it by then, potentially. And then at the end of the season, they'd have to go to Sarries, potentially away, and get 5 points. But that, I think, if they win all of those, would be enough to get them in to 57 points.
What you would say as well, that with what Bristol are doing today and clocking up 80 odd points, their points difference is now enormous, and that might be worth an extra point in the table at the end of the season.
It's going to be really important, that, Nick, because most of the sides behind Saints have got, well, they did have 8 wins before this weekend. They've all got very similar wins, and then it will go to points difference.
Dupree. Quirk, Ford, Tuolangi again.
No!
Bayonne are going to have fun with him next season.
Let go! People on the wrong side.
Corbus Visa.
Got it.
There's Wilgriff John. First appearance since re-signing for the club on a short-term deal. Oh, drop goal from Ford. Saw 1 or 2 of those down in France during the World Cup. A little bit more successful than that one.
Just trying to
There's nothing, you are, but you've got
keep the
people
foot on the
wrong
throat,
side, so
isn't
that's
he?
why
Just
I'm
keep
helping you
that pressure on the scoreboard. Not too disastrous that it misses, because Harlequins now have to give it back. Does Marcus Smith gamble a little bit and try and kick to compete here? Does he try and relieve a bit of the pressure?
Tom Lauday for Chandler, Cunningham South. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Sale will be eager to keep Quins down to just the 1 bonus point, the try-scoring bonus point they have at the moment. And right now, Quins are not heading south with a losing bonus point, which again might be important come the final audit. Let's see, here they are in search of narrowing that gap. Kerr to Kerrod.
Great ball from Kerrod.
To Smith, and then Esterhazen, and it's opening up a little bit here. But, no way through in the end for Northmore. Ferocious battle for the ball that in the end wended its own way out of the ruck and was picked up by Visa. Luke Northmore hurt himself in the middle of all that, but he's back on his feet, and Ford will look for a 50-22 if the bounce is right. And the bounce was very nearly right, but Murley got there first. And off he goes. Brought to the floor by a hard-working Josh Beaumont. Caden Murley isn't the kind of player you want to see running at you when you've been playing for 75 minutes as a second row forward, but Beaumont did his job there. Herbst, who's still with us as well. Evans, Smith, this is lovely, and Northmore needs some support. And in the end, Dugdale was over it.
That is a big clear out.
Stolen it again, though, Dugdale. That's about 3 he's had today.
Bouncing ball, Carpenter gets there first. nips in ahead of a posse of Londoners and then forced to hold on to it.
How about this for a turnover from Kerrod, though? Sorry, from Dugdale.
Time is off.
Big clear out comes in from Walker. He still manages to get it back on his side. And that's been Harlequins' problem a little bit, hasn't it? That they've actually played some lovely stuff. There's a brilliant pass from Kerrod and all of that, but when they get wide, when they get loose, Sale have been really effective at the breakdown.
Wait a second, Marcus. Time is
What's
off.
third turnover from Dugdale? 18 tackles.
Happy? Time on.
Strong game.
Holding on. Set well, lads.
Jared Evans. Kerr, backstep.
Push there. Push there. No, he's been pushed there by your four.
Into the final 5 minutes. George Hammond. Ernie Herps, Baxter again. Taylor making sure that this is slow progress. Evans, 7 on 7 into Dugdale. Smith being hunted down by Rob Dupree, and the outlet was provided by Esterhazen.
Ball was out.
Gombrand to Evans again, and Northmore. Tyrone Green just playing on instinct at the moment. Harlequins, that was knocked on. Sale scrum.
I think they might need a canister of oxygen for that review show for Danny Kerr, because it has been super fast, the 40 minutes that he's been on. He's done a lot of running.
Time off, please. Full Sam. Full. Covers. You full. Change, mate.
Who's doing player of the match?
There have been some great performances from a Sale perspective in particular. Obviously, Tyrone Green has played well again, but I think Rob Dupree has been outstanding at 13. We saw that miracle pass for the try. Cobus Visa has done so much work, really good ball carrying. He's made 15 tackles himself, but I've just mentioned Sam Dugdale. I think those turnovers have been absolutely crucial to stopping Harlequins every time they got that momentum that they're so famed for, to coming back into games. So Sam Dugdale is our Gallagher Premiership Player of the Match.
Austin a little upset that he wasn't given the job today. Who would you have given it to us?
I think Dugdale had a very good game. I agree with Ben on most of those. I thought Cowan Dickey was excellent when he was on. But overall, it's just been a very good Sale performance, very similar to their game against Exeter. You know, they've had a difficult season with a lot of injuries. Alex Sanderson's had to deal with so many different injuries, but they seem to have just been putting it together at just the right time.
Another change. Jean-Luc Dupree with a few minutes to go, replaced by Hiron Andrews. So Josh Beaumont, who's going to go to number 8. It's great to see Josh Beaumont not just back fit, Ben, but you'll understand what it takes to, as a bloke in his 30s, to be doing a full 80 minutes on a day. Don't hit me, but on a day like today, he's been impressive. It's great to see him out there.
On the back foot.
Here's Tuolangi. He's worked so hard again today. Just those hard, straight, short lines. Bamba, oh, away nicely. That's
Energy's gone a bit, hasn't it, from Quins? Need to chase down, getting that losing bonus point from under 7. They need a bit of intensity.
Murley. It's tackled by O'Flaherty. And Jared Evans. Made that by Hammond. Kerrod nearly connecting with the target. Beaumont helping to win it back again, and here goes Reed. Smith. Still with 2 minutes to go, Harlequins' quest for another bonus point.
Good read from Aaron Reed there. Just staying alive when the ball had been kicked ahead of the quick throw in, just stopped Marcus Smith going wide left as he wanted to.
Well, here goes Murley. Foot down. He's got beyond Ford, and this is an important run, and it might be an important score. When we come to add it all up at the end of the season, it might be a very, very big score. Luke Northmore's try, and Harlequins now, if the conversion goes over, pocketing a losing bonus point as well. A couple of bonus points to keep them warm on the trip home.
Well, Flaherty's been brilliant since he came on, but Murley burns him here, and then the little stutter step does Ford, just gives him enough room on the outside to get round him, and then he's got the pace to accelerate again. And then thought maybe Northmore had overrun it on the inside, but he catches it over his left shoulder and dots down under the post to make it a very easy kick for Jared Evans, though referee suggesting Evans had taken it a little bit too easy.
Wants to get on with it, doesn't he?
To the left.
Get on with it. Wasted a good 30, 40 seconds there. Still in a chance of winning this the way Quins play.
Yeah, we'll have at least 30 seconds left, but here's the moment that right now has them taking 2 points back.
It's a great stop and go, Nick. Just stands Ford up.
Just wandering back really slowly, Sale, taking everything out of the clock that they can.
This is the bit I hate. I can't stand this part of the game.
Does George Ford bury this along the floor, just make it really difficult to pick up, allow his team to put pressure on, stop Quins playing quick, or does he go as long as he can?
78 minutes and 50 odd seconds when they scored that try. Whole minute to restart the game. Can you imagine that in the NFL? A minute to go, you can see 2 touchdowns.
Thank you.
Got to manage the clock better, I think, in the game. There's a lot of wastage.
Here goes Evans. Surely not another Harlequin story. Need to publish another volume if they do steal the win here now. Evans, Esterhazen, Northmore, Tyrone Green, and Tuolangi eager to make sure that the tail ends here. Baxter.
Offside in the midfield there, Sale. They got away with that.
Kerr, Smith, and then Evans. Couple of 10s on the pitch now in Smith and Evans. There's another Evans, Will Evans. There's another big man who's gone the distance today. Ernie Herbst. Murley nearly working his way through. 82nd minute. Dombrandt away to Lauday. 13th phase, the most in the match, right at the end of the match, as they reach for something extraordinary once more. Esterhazen's
very patient. They're trying to play narrow. They're trying to play within half of the pitch, and Tyrone Green's out on the right, so I think they're just trying to get Sale as narrow as they can. Marcus Smith in behind. He could potentially crossfield kick to Green. Again, they go back down that blind side, just trying to hold Sale, lull them into a false sense of security.
Harrod again. Kerr, Smith. Oh, and he's got through, and Murley was hands out hoping for it.
Danny Kerr's completely out on his feet. He was about 3 seconds away from that. There they go.
Yeah. Sale steal it. Sale hold on. Curry, one of the players on the floor, as most of the players end this contest on the floor. Everybody has emptied the tank today. Keeping the Northern dream alive. The hope that there will be a representative from the North in the playoffs. Maybe at Twickenham as well, again on the final day of the season. And after the glory of Bordeaux, a potentially costly defeat in Manchester. Of course, not terminal in terms of the top four, those two comforting bonus points, but no lives left for Quins now. Final score at the Salford City Community Stadium, Sale 37, Harlequins 31.